Welcome everybody. Sorry for the delay in getting started. It's all Catharine's fault. But I'm usually the one that comes in with a four-wheel skid 2 seconds before we start. So Catharine was at Tim Hortons since 8 o'clock this morning, making sure she was going to be here on time. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
I know there's some people in the room already who are familiar with the Listed app and already know you and you know them. But I wanted to get started, and for the people that are here today and the people we're going to share the recording with, tell us about how Listed got started.
Oh yeah, it got started because as a consumer in the real world, I had a serious pain point. I was walking down the street one day in Kensington Market in Toronto, and for me, I'd never thought I'm gonna go buy a house or anything, but I was literally walking down the street and saw this cute little house. It looked just small and maybe cheap enough that I thought, oh, maybe I could buy that, you know? And I had this first thought was, how come nobody in real estate puts the price on anything, right? You just want to say for sale price. So I didn't know what to do. So I saw the sign and I thought, okay, I'll call the number, thinking whoever was selling it was gonna come running around the corner and take me in the house right away. But no, I got the front desk, who was gonna have the agent paged. And I was like, paged? Is that 1982? So I did what I should have done to begin with, right? And just Googled it. But then, now put on your consumer hat for a minute. When you Google any property, what do you get? I got like 5,000 people selling this house. So I was like, that's curious, you know? Because the tenet of the MLS, compensation and cooperation, you all have all the listings on your website. So all I wanted to do at that moment was get in and see the house. And because it was challenging, and every website that I clicked, it was a form, a wall of form. Like I couldn't even get a phone number to actually reach someone, right? So it was frustration after frustration. So I'm a designer and technology person. So I just wanted a magic button. I'm standing in front of the house and I tap this magic button and it pops up. So essentially that's what Listed is. And the only addendum to that is that when I looked into it a little, I had this crazy realization with a little bit of research that all of you have the same problem. You don't actually just walk in front of the house and tap a button and get the information on it. So where a lot of people went and thought, oh, real estate hasn't figured this out. I'm gonna make a brokerage and get all the leads and sell all the houses. I thought, wow, there's a real problem that can be solved by making it easy for consumers to get a great agent by making an app for both of you. So Listed is for the consumer through organized real estate, through an agent.
So what year did you first launch?
Oh my gosh, you know all those quotes like it's a 5-year overnight success? When I stood in front of that house and wanted to make the magic button, I very quickly realized it was so difficult to understand how real estate works. And also, just from a different perspective, when you're starting a tech startup, you've got a few choices, right? Are you gonna get venture funded? Or are you gonna get angel investment? Are you gonna pay for it yourself? Like, what are you gonna do? So I had this great idea that to maybe really understand real estate, would it be crazy if I put on my anthropology hat and actually took the courses and became an agent and then joined the MLS committee at the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board? So I basically took this 3-year research project on, became an agent, and my marker was, if I increase my annual income by double every single year, by year 3 I should have both learned enough, raised enough money to make this app and have it go. So it was never my intention to be an agent, but I basically understood that you cannot learn anything about organized real estate, make a difference, have an impact, if you're not kind of engaged at every level. So that worked for me. I don't trade or sell real estate, but I can have a legal conversation with anyone about it. And I kind of carried that on and joined a number of organizations in the US that actually work on things like data standards and fixing a lot of the problems that you guys might experience on a daily basis that are probably too long to go into right now, but that really help.
So when we met a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little longer now, you were talking about coverage across the country.
Yeah.
And so when we first met, you had just launched. And,
Oh, yeah.
And so there's been multiple changes to your platform.
Yeah.
So you tell us about access to data, because when we look at what's happening with shared technology, it's still not completely shared. We have to join multiple boards to get multiple streams of listings. Even though we're all licensed to trade in Ontario, we're limited to what we can see. Can you comment on how you've beaten that one?
Beaten is a positive word there. It's like a work in progress. But I love your question because it really alludes to something that I think is incredibly important. And that is competing on access versus quality. So when you think about, why don't I have the best tools from perhaps the places that I already pay dues to and whatnot, right? There are a number of reasons for that, and it's super challenging. But with the advent of the internet, all of a sudden, it opened up the playing field for consumers to be able to get access to information. So then there was an immediate race to close all the gates and limit access to information. So I would say when we saw that as a problem, one of the unique things that we did was we took our mission statement, which is do what love would do, and love would make a consumer have a great experience, and for a consumer to have a great experience, they actually need a realtor. They really do, whether they know it or not. So it's kind of an education piece. So how we got data across Canada is we went to the powers that be, the multiple MLSs that are across the country, and we said, we want to support you. We want to support your members. If we're not going to be included in your MLS, we'd at least be able to have listed be a product that your members can become part of. So we became a technology provider for MLSs across Canada. So what's great about that is now when you have listed and you give it to your clients, you and they can access data across Canada for the most part. Quebec is always an outlier, but we're working on that, and we've translated it into French and actually traditional and simplified Chinese, and are working on other languages. So if you have clients in those language categories, it works. But the other thing is that we have an expert network as well, which means that a lot of consumers don't realize there isn't one MLS, there are many. In fact, there's just over 550 in North America, so it's quite challenging. But you're all connected to each other, right? Jeff needs to reach somebody, he just calls whoever he needs to reach and gets the information. So as he's already noticed, because he's on it, we connect you to other realtors in other places. So we're constantly making the data more accessible by following the rules of organized real estate. So we should actually talk about the exclusive network at some point in this conversation.
That was my next one.
To make it great for all of you, right? Because you, at the end of the day, you're just busy doing business. You don't want to worry about technology. And I can tell you right now, it's never about the technology. It's about the relationship, which you all know. So we make our technology for relationship's sake, not technology's sake. It should almost be invisible and just make your lives easier.
You know, we talk about making, our job is to give the client the best experience, right? When I came back and revisited your app, and I've been on it for a few years,
yeah.
And I've shared it with different people who are pretending to be clients to just giving us feedback.
Right.
And the feedback I'm getting is, how come Realtor.ca isn't as user-friendly as this is?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because that belongs to all of us, right? Realtor.ca does through CREA. And it took a private endeavor to have a dashboard that you could actually work with. Do you have any thoughts around that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, as a shout out to the MLSs and real estate associations, most of the people on the boards and who run them are volunteers and have active lives in real estate. And you know how busy you are, so imagine adding the pressure of making decisions for your colleagues and being accountable and responsible for them. And then add to that they only meet 12 times a year. right? So if you're going to have 12 meetings, and then the meetings only say an hour or 2 hours long, it's hard to accomplish anything, to put it mildly. And then you're often not a technology expert. So as you guys know, you probably get invites in your mailbox multiple times a week inviting you to new products. Do you have a spare couple hours to go in and assess which ones are the best or not? It's really challenging. I mean, that's why it's nice we're here, because as soon as you have someone who knows something's good, that's one way, just like a great client referral, that somebody else can know you're good without having to do all the research. So I guess my answer is that the boards and CREA have challenges in really knowing who's the best and what to do. And then if it's done in-house, here's my favorite example. Gary Keller, who I love, right, wrote The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right, like a Bible for everybody in real estate, regardless of whatever brokerage you're with. He put $50 million into making an app. And I can't tell you how many Keller Williams agents sign up to Listed. So it's it's not just money that makes an app. It's this combination of understanding the user experience and understanding real estate, and that was a great realization for me, because I thought, okay, I don't need to have $50 million because that wasn't going to happen, and to be able to make something that's really good. But the real secret sauce, Alex, is you were on it. He's being generous when he said I was on it early. It was barely a proof of concept, that would hardly work. So thank you for being on the journey the whole way. But as you've experienced, I listen, I'm available. Alex joked he was going to put my cell phone number on the screen, and I said, it's already in my slide deck on the screen. When I hear what you need, I want to make it. That's what gets me going in the morning, making the best app ever. So it's actually being able to listen and then execute on what you've heard, and then just having the resources to be able to do that in a timely manner.
Well, you led me into the exclusive network. How does that work?
Okay, well, I need a little bit of background here for you guys. So maybe you remember at one point you had a system that included exclusives, and then that system got acquired by your real estate board, and then that ended. So I actually had the CEOs of a couple brokerages come to me and say, we really actually do need an exclusive network because we don't have one. So I listened to what they needed and thought, wow, this is going to be a pretty big endeavor to make a whole network where you can upload listings on here. So we debated whether we were going to do it or not. And then after spending a year and a half creating it, the law changed. And all the brokers who requested it were like, yeah, scratch that. And I said, no need to scratch it, because we actually agree with the changed law in a lot of ways, which is that if you're going to have an exclusive or a coming soon listing, it should be for the benefit of the consumer. And I think that's what they were really trying to do with the realtor cooperation policy, was say, as long as your client knows, that this is the benefits of being on the MLS versus the benefits of an exclusive listing, then go ahead and do it. And if you've got an older couple who can't do showings, you can't have it on the MLS because it's not possible to be shown. So there's a lot of great examples of why you might need an exclusive. And then the other thing is that you're always wanting to get energy for your listing. So the law actually benefited us, because when we made our original exclusive network, it was truly exclusive. Consumers could not see it. Only you agents could. So it was really only agent to agent. But the new law has this beautiful, you can market it 3 days prior to it coming to the MLS. So what we've added is when your coming soon listing is on Listed, say you were going to post it today, April 18th, but it was going to come out May 1st. It'll actually go out to your colleagues within your own brokerage, or you can send it in a direct one-to-one communication through Listed to someone outside your brokerage. And it'll be available on a broker-only level until 3 days before May 1st. So what's really cool is April 27th-ish, it just automatically comes out. It's got this beautiful gold banner, says coming soon. It goes out to everybody, so anyone who's got a saved search will receive it. So it's really nice marketing for you guys. And then it automatically, don't need to worry about it, expires and gets replaced by your MLS listing when it comes live. And then if you have a genuinely exclusive, it just stays on exclusive. And the cool thing there is like the oxymoron of how do you have it exclusive but maximize exposure? So we did this reverse AI matching algorithm, which is actually really simple. It's like a wants versus a haves. So if you have an exclusive listing, listed on the back end is taking all the people who've ever made a saved search or done something where they've expressed by their saving it on listed that they have interest in a property that matches your exclusive listing. So we don't tell them or their agent, we basically tell you, the listing agent, oh, the following agents have matched interest, either themselves or through their client. And then you just have this beautiful list that you can go down and just say, oh, send, oh, maybe not that person, send. So nobody knows that you are or aren't sending it to them until you choose to send it. So on so many levels, I'm proud of it. I think it's quite good on many levels. And it's not even launched yet. It's coming May 1st. We're probably gonna have a version of it out by next week. It is there right now, but it's just for beta or anyone who wants to reach us because we're tweaking some things with it.
I just got completely baited on this. She didn't tell me a word about the exclusive network.
Did I not even put that in the note?
Never mind. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. You're always holding back something. This is.
I forget these things. Yeah.
This is really exciting. We were shared some notes, and when we met last time, we talked about technology as transformation.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that for these guys?
Absolutely. Okay, so, from the perspective of technology, I think a lot of the times we feel overwhelmed by it because so much is happening. Like right now, I think your real estate board is actually getting you to switch from one technology to another, and you're like, in the spring market, when I'm super busy, I've got to learn something new. Are you kidding me? But as technology does transform things, so have you ever shown up to a listing and your client had more information than you? Right? How scary is that? Why is that happening? So I guess my point is that people are always going to find the easiest ways, and innovators like us are always trying to find the easiest way to success. And so whether you want to learn it or not, it's going to be there. And the great thing about us is that, we made that for you. Whereas when you show up and your client already has more information, it's because they've discovered some other technology that's usually come through somebody who's a technologist and then thought, well, we'll just open a brokerage and kind of put it on top so we can get leads. And that's kind of their model. But, that's not great because then what's happening to the consumer, right? So I think what's great about listed is that when you get it, it's not one of these new things you have to learn. Like for any of you who don't have it yet, you can literally download it and we can show you to tap one blue button at the top of your screen and whatever listing you're standing in front of will pop on the screen. And each lesson like that, like now you've already learned a lesson, each lesson like that you learn can take 1 minute, 5 minutes or less. So it's really just doing. So to just further ease your mind about this, did anyone give you a guide on how to get started with Instagram? I mean, okay, maybe you took a course to see how you could leverage it for your business, but when you signed up for your account, you just signed up for Instagram and you can probably make a post. Listed is literally that easy. And the transformation part really comes in the ability for technology to grow your business, right? Like the car wasn't compared to the technology of a horse and buggy, actually transformed where we live because it reduced the time it takes to get somewhere. So at some point, technology is so big, it actually transforms like how we live and what we do. So I think in one way, you got to think about technology as just keeping up with how I live life, right? Like, I'm sure you all had to learn what ChatGPT is now because everyone just started adopting it. But technology is truly transformative, and by being part of it, you're like, with the times are accelerating. And unfortunately, the reverse is true. If you're not part of it, you kind of go backward. There's no way you're not moving, because life is a moving endeavor and always in progress. And so since it's going to happen anyway, I say embrace it and be curious. And actually, okay, one quick thing. I was so honored the other day because some agent called me, not about listed, just a real estate question about technology. And I said, oh, like, why did you think to phone me? Somebody else who had listed said, well, I don't know the answer to that, but I think you could just call Catharine MacIntosh and she'll tell you.
Wow.
And I love that, right? So I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm a resource if you want to reach out anytime.
She did say she's going to put her phone number on the screen. So if she doesn't, I'll just send it to all of you. It's quite amazing how it's changed, right? We've gone from, you know, the MLS book is the property of this brokerage, and you know, we do not share it with anyone. And now the consumer, and we as consumers, we want to know everything.
Right.
And it doesn't. I don't think it means we're going to abandon using a realtor.
Right.
Tell me, how many consumers, ballpark, do you have using listed right now?
Oh, not even ballpark, 20,000.
Wow.
Ish. And the thing is that, you know, I guess back to your point of year, like in November 2022, we launched listed as it is now.
Yeah.
And we've never marketed it because our idea is that every time we market it, we should be marketing a realtor. So for example, when I have listed on my phone and I'm signed up as a client, I always have an agent who's a listed agent as my agent on the phone, so that if I'm in the grocery store or waiting for the streetcar, I can be like, oh, you have an iPhone? You ever heard of listed? Oh my God, look at it. And then like, it takes like 26 seconds is the quickest I got somebody to sign up and get listed. But the nice thing about that is they're getting the agent I have. Like, that's the beautiful thing about it, is it's catchy like that. But what I really love about your question, and I think is so poignant, is that with the real estate boards, and I don't think this is well understood by many people, they have an old model that was based back when there were pages that you would come to the office and pick up, not a model of new technology. So it's like a one-hit wonder, right? They put out an RFP, they get a single vendor, and then it's in that vendor's best interest to forever and a day stay with the MLS. And when they talk to the board of directors, of course, they want to make it clear that if you change, things could happen. But I don't think anyone's pointed out like the and versus or. We're not in an or world anymore. We have many choices. And so if the MLS said, you can use this, and you can choose to use this, and you can choose to use this, and they invited more vendors to give more choice, which is what consumers want and which is what you guys want, they'd probably actually lower their fees. You'd have more choices, and it would be better for everybody.
Sure.
So as soon as that starts to change, I think we're going to see like a really big shift in what happens.
I think we already have.
It's starting.
I think so too.
It's starting.
For those of you who don't use it, what I really like about it is it looks like it's my app. It doesn't.
Right.
It's completely. It doesn't show anybody else but me. And so when I share it with somebody, and I go here, and you show them your QR code, and they're live. And you know, I get a little report at the bottom of the screen, and then I can see that I've got notifications, and I can see people are looking at different properties, and they're actually engaging in it. And thanks to Jeff, you brought me back up to date, because I think we brought it in when it was realestate.love.
Oh yeah, don't remind me.
and that's right. It's right. And I was talking to Jeff about you guys having that meeting in Burlington. Yeah. And you showed me how it's progressed over the last several years, and it's unbelievable. So that's why I wanted to bring Catharine in to talk about this. The Borg team uses it, Flowers team use it, Hills team has now taken it on. It's really quite amazing.
It's a great way, sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
Like when I get you as a client looking at something, and I haven't say, we're in contact with each other, but maybe it's been 6-8 months since we spoke because you said, I don't think I'm gonna wait or whatever. And then I see you looking at properties. It's a great way just to reach out to you. Just say, hey, how's your year going? You have real estate in 2024? I don't know if you've seen this property, and I'll mention it. Like, yeah, you know what? I was looking at that property. I know you were because I could see you. Yeah. But it's a really good way to sort of like gauge. And I have some clients I've sold them a property, say last year, and they're on it all the time. So I'll just kid with them because they'll say, because I can see you looking at. Not that I'm watching.
Yeah.
Pick and choose who you would say that with, And they're like, yeah, I love it. I'm on it all the time.
I've got a guy who came into the real estate. It wasn't for him. He's no longer in real estate, and he's always looking at real estate. and that's what I called you, because can I kick someone off my platform? But it's funny how you can just, all of a sudden, you can see the activity of people who even you're testing with.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
quite, it's quite neat.
Sharing, you don't have to go on or Trello or anything really. Like if someone I'm working with is on this app and they see a property, I said, just send it to me off this. It's easy. Just hit the share button. Or you can get like 3 or 4 or 5 properties and send them all at once. Like, hey, we're thinking, if we see these on the weekend, and they'll send me all the properties, MLS numbers, or if it's on Trev, or
even if they just like it, you'll see it.
Yeah.
They'll like it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So I find that there's so many ways you can sort of, engage in a conversation, make your life simpler, go on to Broker Bay, make your appointment. It's like, really see the history, because vendors want to see, the buyers want to see the history. They can see exactly what you see, what we see as agents.
Sure.
And I think if you give them that information, I don't mean to take over your thing.
No, yeah.
I think it's not threatening.
Yeah.
I think it's like, if you get all the information, I'm not going to call you. Yeah, they're going to call you. You're just helping them with their decision.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what I love about your question actually is that, I think people don't realize something, which is they're just talking about all the great information you have working with your client. And, some people that have been using other apps say, well, I just use this because it's free. And, then my client's always going to call me anyway. But I think what they don't realize in this day and age, if you're on an app, it knows everything about you and your clients, right? Like, we're not alone in what we're doing. And so I would say that we're actually protecting the consumer in that their personal data is protected, what they're doing is protected, because you as the agent are the only person who's ever going to see their activity, and you're working with them, so it's to their benefit. So you're protecting your client by having them unlisted with you versus some other app, number one. And you brought up kind of the white label, or like it looks like yours. And what's interesting about that is, there was a time when, maybe you would sign up with someone and they'd say, we're going to take our product and we're going to white label it, make it you. But if you could think about it this way, like if you were going to do how you sign up for services now with Facebook, and it's become such a known thing that you can actually use it to authenticate, like to your password. That would not work if it was, Joe's Pet Shop cloaked as Facebook, a social media platform, right? So listed is establishing a trust and an integrity and a quality that then you're on it, and that quality and trust is, connoted by you being part of it. So that's part of our goal is, if anything breaks, it's our fault. And when it's totally amazing, it's because you're on it and it's amazing and you've given it to your clients. So, back to your original question, there's never been a time where value of the agent has been more important. Mm-hmm. And it's our role to help you show that value. And I think what Jeff Borg was alluding to there is you have all these opportunities that are very quiet and gentle ways of showing your value. Like, you see a client is interested in a property or has liked it, and you have the opportunity to go to that listing, you've probably already seen it, or if you went and saw it, and actually make a comment on it and engage and interact with them in a way that they're only going to get if they've got, in this case, Jeff Borg, right? And so you as a realtor have this opportunity now to use a tool that is constantly highlighting you. And all day you could talk about your value and how great it is. But when your clients are talking about your value and how great it is, right, that's even more amazing, because the idea when someone has your listed app and they share it, like Alex was saying, what they're doing is they're sending a private message, usually in text, to someone they know quite well, 100% chance of them opening it, and saying, like, this is cool, or check this out, or look at this house. So that person clicks it, gets it, and without passing anyone's card or making an official referral, we are back to our mission statement, doing what love would do and making sure your friend gets their friend's great agent. It's what should happen anyway. It just happens with a lot less effort and a lot more ease.
You know, as I've been fooling around with the app, you go talk to a friend and you say, I want to show you this app that we work with, and it gives the consumer all the information, and they're like, really?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, you get it all. You get what I get. And so, do you want to try it? And they're like, sure. How do I try it? It's like so easy, and they're saying, you're letting me go and look at everything, and it's like, yeah, you can. They're like, wow, this has come a long way.
It's empowering.
It's very empowering, and no one's ever going to forget who gave it to them.
No, yeah, it's like a
really
gift from you.
Pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a gift from you, and it's a learning opportunity for them, because they think, oh, you're not holding anything back from me? You're not one of those people that was with the lawsuit that was trying to not let sold data out? You're like happy for me to have all the information? And they start to realize that you want them to have access to the information because you're excited to have an intelligent conversation with them. They're excited about buying or selling, or nervous, or whatever they are. So when they have more information, they can ask you more intelligent questions, and you're not wasting your time answering things that they can know. You're actually amplifying and speeding up your time to get to really intelligent decisions for them, whether it's they want to sell or they want to buy, you know, which I think is just super important. Just a quick example of one of the features is this idea of guess the price. So, you know, it's hard with the price of houses, and people are it's always more money than they think, because they're always closing costs that maybe things they didn't consider. And as realtors, you know that when you see $899, it's 1.1, but they don't know that yet. So, you know, a little thing like guessing the price, it's like $899, and they're like, I think it's gonna go for $900,000. And then when they see what it went for, because they get an automatic update, like they start to then have a conversation with you, which is like, do you think I should be looking at houses in this range to get a house for $900,000? And do you have any like that? And they start to understand that really nicely. In fact, there was an agent who, I've never had this call. He's been in business 25 years, and he called and said, okay, this is a miracle. I had a client call me and say, can we do a price reduction? And I said, how did that happen? And it's basically because they bought a new house and they were yet to sell, and they were in that period before the market really changed. But because his clients were using Listed for both finding their new home and then selling the ones they currently have, she had a list of all the properties, and I always find in a couple it'll be one person who's really doing it and then sharing it with the other person. But you know, this woman had a list and saw the other houses that are for sale in our neighborhood that are competing with us. If we went 20,000 lower, you think that would trigger a sale quicker? And they came on later and sold sooner than everybody else in their block. And although they weren't thrilled with what they got, it was clear within another month they got more than they would have if they'd waited and kept following it. So whether you're a buyer chasing the market or a seller chasing your dream price, you know, it helps you have a realistic conversation with your agent.
I think of the app much like Amazon. And so after a while, when you use it, it knows what you want to see.
Yeah.
And it helps you find it or reorder or this and that. When people are, in my opinion, when people are online, they don't want it to be something that's fed to them. They want to be able to sort of navigate freely, and that's, I think, how listed is very different.
Yes.
And can you explain? I don't know if you noticed in our announcement that Catherine was going to be here, that she spoke at Inman Connect 2024.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Can you just give everyone a little taste of what Inman's all about and what you talked about while you were there? Because it's a North American audience. It's not a small audience. It's huge.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, I will. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about two things really quickly because,
Sure.
back to the Amazon idea. This might not be known by you guys, but on other apps, you know how you get the great alert with Listed, like, oh, property's back on the market or something happened? On Listed, you are only getting, or your clients are only getting an update when it's real. I didn't realize this was happening on other apps. It's crazy. But basically, if you're not active enough, they'll just send you an update because they're trying to send you an update. They're just trying to hook you back in. They already see you're not interested, so it's fake. So there's a lot of benefit to technology, but there's a lot of fake technology out there. So again, when you're talking with your clients or you're choosing a product for yourselves, you want to know what's genuine and has integrity and is being done properly. Like, you're only going to see other ones you like on Listed if they actually match your criteria, or if there was an exclusive that was actually like the property you want to buy, okay? And then to your second question, it's funny how when you just show up every day, never give up, and the road's there to meet your feet, things happen. So I had decided this year in 2024 that we weren't going to go to Inman. So Inman Connect, or Inman, is a huge real estate conference that happened. It started in New York, and it happens Inman Luxury happens in Beverly Hills. Inman Disconnect is sort of for all the CEOs and brokerage and team leaders who want to go to Palm Springs and get disconnected from technology and have a conversation. And Inman Connect is really the tech side of real estate conference that happens in New York at the end of January every year. So we were there the first year, and I loved it, and I thought, wow, on my bucket list is going to be to go to Inman. And this was the first year I decided, you know what? We're so busy, things are moving ahead, I'm not going to go to Inman this year. And then they called us and said, can you come be on the main stage and talk about Listed? And I said, yeah. yeah, let me get there right away. So that crossed it off my bucket list, but the reason it was on my bucket list is because it's so important, right? You're really reaching a large audience. And the key question there was about value. With all the lawsuits and everything going on, there's more and more questions about the value of having an agent and technologies that are going to support that. And so the reason they were interested in us is because in the US, there are just kind of these two models where either you have a portal, which is really one big advertisement for everybody. So do you really want to be sending your clients somewhere where it's like me or 10,000 other real estate agents on this platform, right? Or it's something that's proprietary, which is that it's some other product that's a brokerage app that is, you can't be part of, basically, unless you go join that brokerage. And there are a lot of reasons why you might not want to go join that brokerage that has an app. So what they wanted to ask us about was, they called our session the portal antidote, right? They kind of saw it as, wow, there's actually a product that was made to align the interests of consumers and organized real estate, or organized real estate with consumers, right? And really make that your driving force. And when you do that, everybody's happy, both parties benefit. That's why in our business model, we're a flat subscription. We don't get money if you get a lead. We don't get money if we give you a lead. We don't get money. You can't buy a geography. You can't pay us more money to show up and get referred more than somebody else. We just took that, what would Love do, and baked it right into the business model. So if some consumer just signs up on Listed from nobody's link, they just get given an agent that's like next in line, sort of. But the other great thing is anyone can reach us, or if I end up talking to anyone, I always trace back, oh, by the way, how did you get it, or what happened? And There was one guy one time who didn't know how he got his agent, and he actually just called for a technical question, but he was buying a $2 million cottage. And I discovered the agent's client that had originally sent him the app, like, oh, how did you get it? Oh, this person. Oh, I looked them up. I saw who their agent was. So I said, you know, this agent you got unlisted, are you connected to them? No, didn't know them. So I said, well, you probably should have got your friend's agent because they're really great. And he's like, yeah, I would like that. So we switched them. I called this agent and said, you have a new client, you better go sell a cottage. And they were like over the moon. So I get motivated and our whole team gets motivated by making sure everybody is connected to the person they need to be connected with. And that agent who got that person and then it was taken away from them, they actually were thrilled too, because no great agent wants to be taking the client of somebody else. And what comes around goes around. So everyone who's part of it loves the integrity, loves that they can trust it, loves that we're not a brokerage. We can't take real estate clients. We can only refer them out to one of you. So that works really well for us. And Inman loved it, and we're kind of set to go across North America. And when I was in Scotland, I was thinking, I saw this tiny kind of castle-looking place, and I thought, I want to push the magic button here, you know.
That's funny. You should have a buy it now option.
We actually, in our early sketches, had a buy now button.
Oh my God.
But like, it is a good idea, okay, because if we just take that and take off the word maybe buy now,
Sure.
you know, this new product has come out, final offer, and there's some new products that are about offering and being able to make an offer. And I think one of the things that happens the minute you, like, nobody's up all night on a mortgage app, but they eventually got to get there when they fall in love with the property that they want. You know, so I think that it is very interesting once you find that property you like, how helpful would it be for them to do a mock offer and fill in a few things themselves, like, I want to pay this much. Oh, what's this deposit? I got to put a deposit? How does that compare to the down payment connected to my mortgage? So many, I don't know if you find this, but so many people seem to confuse deposit in the offer with the down payment and the mortgage. Like, wouldn't it be nice if they just learned that and, you know, the conversation was easier?
Yeah, no, that's excellent. You surprised me this morning that we became a preferred partner.
Yes.
Today.
Yeah.
And we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
And before we close off, because I want to ask you to finish off with your time and attention
Sure.
stuff, but can you talk about the offering and what's involved?
Yeah, okay, you know, just the same way you loved that, you know, somebody could just get you and get your app, we actually are a business who doesn't want everyone using, like, we don't want everyone. I mean, if everyone used Listed, there'd be no competitor app where your clients show up and they're on some other app. So it's good in that regard, but we actually want brokerages that do things like this, create an environment of learning and education, because ultimately what you do here serves the consumer. So I was telling Alex, like, being a listed preferred partner is something that we think you should be, because you already do all the things that we think a listed preferred partner should have, do, and be. Train its agents, keep them up to date, do all these things. So what that does, so Alex has become one, so you're all going to benefit by this. And we raised prices in March, but for Alex, all of the people at Meadowtowne would get the original pricing that we launched Listed at. And actually, thanks to you and our conversation about that, everybody who signs up between today and I think next Thursday, we have a slide, I think it's the very last one or somewhere in there, that, or in the middle, I don't know, I can find it. Or actually right here, if you scan this, it takes you to a post on social media where you can just type in the message on it, RLPM, and that'll be good because our tech support will, or our customer support will just send you a link. But for your first year, you'll get this extra $200 off, which is like getting an extra 2 months free, which is really great. And if you already have Listed or you're part of any of the teams, we will retroactively make sure that you get any benefit. So we're just always making sure that great people are getting the benefit and able to use it and share it.
That's
so
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Do you want to go through how, if they're interested, what the next steps are, or is that the way?
Yeah, actually.
Because we're going to share this across the company.
Yeah, we're going to share the presentation, which is great. And in the note, we can have you just download Listed to get started, and we have a slide where you can download Listed, and we have a slide for the payment. But just so everybody knows that basically the easiest way to do it is you'll download Listed, you'll do your data agreements. That's always a tricky part, but the data agreements are a good thing because they show that you are a valid agent and that you're getting data and you're going to be stewards of that data. And we pride ourselves on how we manage the data. So if your client goes and takes a sold listing and shares it on Facebook, you have nothing to worry about because we're always controlling access and who has access, so the sold price won't show unless they log in and see it. And then if they do log in to see it, not only is the access great, but now they have you as the agent, which is really good. So you're going to do your data agreements. Then we're going to make your agent account active, and you'll get started. And you'll receive a getting started email from our customer support that kind of gets you going.
So I wonder if you can help me. Is there a way that I can notify Treb, who sends me 3 emails every time someone signs up, and then I have to log in and approve 3 times? Is there a way that we can auto-approve you as a supplier, and so that when someone does it, it just automatically goes? No way.
Okay, so there's actually 9 emails. We do 3, you do 3, and the agent does 3.
Oh, and I get 3 confirmations after.
And 3 confirmations. Yeah, there's 9 in total. It's over the top. Okay, I will actually just say this. I heard there's another vendor who's getting to skip the queue. And the answer I got was to maybe talk to John DeMichel, so I'm going to do that.
Okay,
but
great.
There's no skip the queue as far as we know right now. And if you're listening to this, John DeMichel, let us skip the queue. No.
Hi, John.
No,
So,
actually, I do want to say on that behalf, some of the things they've done at Treb are so great, and
Sure.
actually John and Michelle's leadership really does push the envelope, and where it may not seem like it's not going quick enough, it is just because there are so many practical T's to cross and I's to dot. Yeah, they're really doing great things. You're in good hands with Treb.
oh, for sure. I'm just wondering if how we can fast track that, because if we have a lot of people doing it, I have now another part-time job. So
That is true. That is true. Okay, you know what? We'll work on coming up with something like
Okay.
that, because life is about making a suggestion. Something doesn't work, you let us know, and we should take our own advice and let Treb know and suggest how it could be better.
if we can give something in writing to Treb that says we're a preferred partner, anyone in our company that wants to do this,
Just say yes.
pass it through.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Beauty.
Okay, good.
So can you tell us about your trilogy of time and attention and your timeless success?
I would love to do that. Okay, great. Okay. Here's the thing. No matter what your value is, if someone doesn't know about you, it doesn't matter because you don't get a chance to tell them about it. So one of the reasons we think Listed is so great and we want you to have it is because it amplifies the chance that you're going to get in front of someone. In technology, we call it network effects. But it's like the old shampoo commercial. You tell 2 friends and they tell 2 friends and so on and so on and so on. So it kind of grows that way. So what I like that comes from the network effect is things happen when you give it your time and your attention, right? But in the old system or CRM, you don't know who to give your time and attention. So you say, oh, I'm going to do 5 pop buys and write 3 letters and do these things. But much to what Jeff was alluding to earlier, he can now see his clients are informing his CRM. So no matter what he had on his to-do list, he now sees, oh, I should schedule a coffee with this person because they were going to be interested this year in selling, and I see that they're looking in their neighborhood now, right? So Listed really helps you manage your time and attention with efficiency, and because your clients really need to feel love when they have your time and attention. Listed is always giving you ways to give them time and attention that's efficient for everybody.
And them.
And them. and them. They all save. You all
It
save.
pays us too, right? Like, so
Yeah.
they also can go quickly on something.
They go quickly on something too. It benefits everybody. It reduces the time to buy. It increases the time to sell more quickly. And then what I like is that we all think of technology as kind of technology, but I would say that listed isn't so much a technology as a conversation through these little connection points. Your client liked a listing, so you and then you did too, and then you get notified that it just came back on the market because maybe the seller didn't get what they wanted on offer night. Who's now able to put in an offer right away at the relisted price? Because now you have what they didn't get, what they want. You're armed with all the information to put in an offer, and you doing that 2 hours earlier than someone else can make all the difference for your client, right? And then they're aware as well. So it really speeds things up. So that's where I mean these connection points, which are your alerts, create a conversation, which is you calling them to go, hey, do we want to get an offer in? Do we want to see what's going to happen with this? And in a meta kind of way, over time, that really shows your value and solidifies the relationship, which is the most important thing. Almost even subliminally, like when you comment on a listing and you haven't even spoken to them, but they see your face and they see the value you're adding, that makes the relationship stronger and keeps you connected over time. Staying connected over time, I think, is the key. And listed is really for repeat and referral agents who understand that, and it amplifies what they're already doing in an offline way and connects it to technology, back to transformation.
Sure, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have a little time to hang around if anyone has questions?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm going to hang around.
Okay.
And also, my phone number is 416-566-5606. And I don't email. If you email, it goes in a black hole.
I've learned.
But if you text me or phone me, you will get me. And you'll get a
Absolutely.
response.
Absolutely.
So whether it's today when I'm going to help you or another day, please reach out.
One other surprise for those of you who are not using it, I was looking at a listing that someone else was looking at, and it showed the last sold price and then the sold price before and the dates and stuff. And the consumers got that at their fingertips. It's amazing. And
It's
that's
actually the whole
the kind of stuff
history.
that, over the last decade, we've been trying to let go of all this stuff, and this just allows you to just give them everything, and they love it. So I would say that I think you'll get a lot out of it and give it a try. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to meet with you and to speak with you. I always learn so much when we have a deep conversation too, so thank you.
We've never had a light conversation, so thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.